in the middle, we can build a snowman. Well, we can make a snowman cookie at least. Please stay and watch this adorable cookie tutorial, okay? Now, I'm not gonna make a promise, but I'm gonna try not to sing every snowman song I know. But you know what? It's just those vibes today. So first, all right, one of my favorite things to do is to grab a light colored edible marker. So this is a yellow edible marker. Now, the funniest comments, like one of my favorite comments, is when people say, why are you writing on that cookie with a Sharpie? Honey, this is edible, okay? They have edible markers, and I'm using a light color because sometimes if you use like a black edible marker to lay out and plan your design, it will transfer to your icing. We don't want that. So use like a very light orange or yellow. And this is so that we can map out where we're going to put our outline consistency icing for our snowman. So there are many decorators that use a different consistency for outlining and flooding. So outlining is what I'm doing here. I'm creating an outline so that the icing does not run and flow over the edge of the cookie. I like to use one consistency, which means that my consistency is thick enough that it can serve both purposes. If you're having a hard time visualizing like what would be thick enough to do an outline and a flood, think of the consistency in between toothpaste and shampoo. It's like right in the middle of that. So it's a little thicker than shampoo and it's thinner than toothpaste. That means that I can draw a line and it stays. You can see that my line is holding up. Now I'm taking the same icing and I'm going to go ahead and this is what we call flood. Okay. I'm going to flood the cookie. That's going to give me the base for all of my beautiful snowman decorations and details. So as you see, I created a space in between for my scarf. So I can go ahead and flood both these sections and it's still going to have a nice separate look because, you know, snowman is 3 circles, 3 ball shapes stacked on top of each other. And so if I wanted to have that separation, I would probably do the face first, let it dry for a little while and then do the body. But since I already have that natural separation from the scarf, I don't need to do that. When you flood a cookie, you need to make sure you put enough icing. Okay. So you're filling that spot up with icing. If you don't put enough, you'll get that weird, wrinkly, empty look to your icing and you want it to be puffy. In the cookie world, we call it that puff, right? We want it to look nice and full and juicy. This is the most satisfying part of the process, so I'm gonna shut up and let you enjoy. All right, this is my favorite part, the wet on wet cheeks. Okay, so you got your snowman's face ready to go. You're gonna get you some pink icing that is the same consistency. It need to be the same so it can just melt into the white. And while your icing is wet, you gotta make sure you get that icing when it's wet. Don't you wait an extra minute. You're going to create your cheeks wherever you want them on your face. I use this for gingerbread man. I use this for Santa. I use this for chicks during Easter. Whatever character, the wet on wet cheeks is my favorite. Look how cute it already is. And at the same time, you're gonna grab your eyes. Now I could draw the eyes. I could wait till my icing is dry and go back with edible marker. I could use icing, but I love to use these pearl sprinkles, these black pearl sprinkles to create an eye on a character. So the way I like to do it is I kind of line up the eye with the cheeks. And so it pretty much works out evenly. I don't need a projector to get it perfect. I just line it up like kind of in the inner top corner of each cheek and look, oh, he's coming to life. He's getting life. Do you want to build a snowman? All right, I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna flood the next section. Oh, I just thought of something I want to tell y'all. So this little thing is called a little cookie turntable. And I love it, especially if you're making a larger size cookie. It's just like what, you know, the cake decorators, they use the large turntable to spin their cake so that they can decorate more efficiently. They have little ones for cookies, and it really does help for you to turn and see you don't want to be reaching over to decorate. You know what I mean? Your hand is already kind of, you know, unstable in this position decorating with icing. And so having the turntable helps so much. Another tool that I want to tell you about is the scribe. Whenever I'm finished flooding the cookies, you might notice me use the scribe. It's kind of like a metal toothpick in order to, you know, finesse the icing where I want it to go. And then sometimes something looks a little uneven. It's amazing, and it really is a helpful tool. So if you're a beginner, just look into those two tools if you're having some trouble, you know, getting the hang of it. All right, girls, back with the pearls. So I like to use sprinkles to decorate. Sprinkles help you decorate cookies. It's just one less thing you have to draw and be finicky with, and it adds texture, and it's beautiful, and it's easy. So I'm also going to use these pearls to create the snowman's buttons. All right, 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, just a little while later. I'm gonna tell you in a minute why you don't wanna wait too long. But I'm gonna go back in with more closer to toothpaste consistency icing in the beautiful color of green. Oh my goodness, there's like 5 tips I wanna tell you right now. All right, first let me tell you why I waited 5 minutes and not an hour. If you wait too long and you have white icing that's super dry and you're adding a color, that could potentially cause color bleed. You will see the green that's so wet being soaked into the dry white icing. So you don't wanna wait too long. The other tip that just popped into my brain, oh my goodness, is that another thing that I find that causes color bleed is if I was to make my green icing 2.3 seconds ago and then try to use it immediately, it's like the dye, the food coloring is too fresh. So I like to make my icing hours, if not the day before, so that it can actually settle in. And I've had less color bleed issues. So try those two things if color bleeding is your arch nemesis. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and add his nose. And so I did let this dry maybe like 5 more minutes because I want the nose to sit on top of the white flood icing. Remember, if you do wet on wet, like the cheeks is gonna blend in and be one surface, but I want it to be a little 3D. So I'm gonna go in. This is kind of a little softer than I would like, this icing, but we're gonna work with it. So like this would also be close to the toothpaste consistency. So you can get a little bit of like a texture to the nose like a real carrot would be. And then I'm gonna go ahead and fix that up with my scribe and look at how, oh, he's looking cute. All right, y'all, let's finish Frosty up. I like to do things that are realistic, right? So you add realistic elements, even though it's like a cartoony, cutesy cookie, having the scarf look like it's wrapping around is just gonna give it a little bit more oomph. You know, people are gonna say, wow, what an artist. Look at that beautiful cookie. So I'm gonna go ahead and add like the scarf is hanging down, it's wrapping around. Look at how you add a little curve, right? When you add that curve, it adds that 3D element on there and even putting some layers, right? And then I think then I added like a little bit of French, so cute. And then I was thinking, you know, I'm all about texture. So my favorite decorating thing, the sprinkles, we're gonna bring it back and just create like a super cute, adorable pattern for our lovely little snowman friend. Snowman baby. Thank you so much for watching, and I have so many new subscribers. I love y'all. Continue to like, comment, share, subscribe, and if you do, I will see you tomorrow.